My name is Esteban. I'm a teacher from Alianza Inglesa, and today we're gonna be giving a look to IELTS Speaking Test Part 1. This part of the IELTS Speaking Test lasts between 4 to 5 minutes, and it has an interview format. This means that there's gonna be an examiner who's gonna be asking questions to you, and you have to answer them in a proper way. This is going to be the easy part of the IELTS speaking test because the topics are going to be familiar to you. About your home, it could be your family, where you work, sports, personal interests, familiar topics that you might face or find in your daily life. So, how do you answer these questions? Well, first of all, try to answer directly. There is no need for you to introduce your answer in any sort of way. You just can answer directly. For example, if they ask about your favorite color, you will answer, the color I like the most is blue or red, whatever color you like. So you answer directly. Then you have to give 2 details to expand your answer. This is very important. The examiner, while you speak, is trying to locate your level of English in one of the bands from IELTS. From 1 to 9, they're trying to see where your English fits. If you don't give them enough information, enough material to assess, your score will be affected. So you have to expand your answers, and one of the best ways to do it is giving 2 details to do so. This means that you cannot give short answers. Please do not give short answers. If you give short answers, your score is not going to be the one you need or the one you want. So do not give short answers, okay? So before we see some example of how to answer to this kind of questions, let's take a look to some tips. One thing that you have to bear in mind when you speak is to project confidence. If the examiner notices any sense of hesitation when you're using certain vocabulary or certain grammar structures and you don't look sure about it, this is going to affect your score. So you have to be confident, you have to project it. Something else that will help your score and improve your answer is being descriptive. The speaking test in IELTS is a place where you need to show off, where you need to display what you know. Display that rich range of vocabulary that you have because you're being tested also in vocabulary. So being descriptive means using a lot of adjectives, of adverbs to expand your answers, to make them look better. Another thing you should have in mind is that you should have a right use of grammar structures. You're being tested in grammar too. So using a mix of different structures in your answer is going to be very helpful to improve your score. Having past, present, future, perfect tenses, passive voice, conditionals also, this is going to be very useful for you and is going to help your score be better. And at last, this is very important. Do not go off topic. Don't start rambling. Always stay focused and keep your answer focused on what you're being asked. Going off topic affects your score. So do not forget, project confidence, be descriptive, have a right use of grammar structures, and do not go off topic. Now, having this in mind, we can move forward to checking an example. Alright then, so let's check this example. When do people give gifts in your country? Well, before we move on, we're gonna check different answers to this question, and we're gonna see why the wrong ones are wrong and why the correct one, well, is the correct one. So the first answer is usually at birthday parties. Well, why do you think this one is wrong? Exactly, because it's too short. Remember, the examiner is trying to locate your English, your level of the language, in one of the bands of IELTS. So if you don't give them anything to assess, they're not going to be able to place you in the band you need. So this is too short. Remember what we discussed before. Do not give short answers. So now let's check the next example. Well, I think one of the most popular times to give presents is birthdays. If there is a party, People who go usually buy something for the one who is celebrating. It could be food, clothes, or anything one likes. Okay, so here we have a longer answer, but still short. Remember, we discussed that we need 2 details to expand our answers. But here we only have one, which is birthday parties. So it can still be a little bit longer. Okay? So now let's check the next example. Well, I think one of the most popular times to give gifts is birthdays. If there is a birthday party, guests who attend it usually buy a nice present for the one who is celebrating. There are many options. For example, one can buy any kind of dessert for them, a sweater too, or even a mug. Another special time would be on Mother's Day. Here in my country, we tend to take them out for lunch someplace fancy and give them flowers and anything we know they love, like a Porsche or a pretty dress. Alright, so now we have a longer answer, but also we have a more descriptive answer. If you noticed in the previous try, we had, for example, people who go to the party. But in this one, we have guests who attended. So we have more specific vocabulary. Also, in the previous ones, we just mentioned presents, that you can get a person a present or a gift, anything. In this one, we're giving specific examples, a dessert, a sweater, or a mug. So using these examples and using more specific vocabulary is showing that the vocabulary range of this person is wider, is richer. So this is going to improve the score. And also, well, we have 2 details. So the answer, as we were mentioning, is longer. Let's take a look to the first detail. If there is a birthday party, guests who attend it usually buy a nice present for the one who is celebrating. There are many options, for example, blah, 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 blah. So here we have the first detail. And then we have a second one, which is another special time would be on Mother's Day. Here in my country, we tend to take them out for lunch someplace fancy and give them flowers, well, and it continues. So here we have 2 details. This is what you need for scoring high. A long answer extended in 2 details and rich in vocabulary. Okay guys, so this was a general overview of speaking part 1. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please hit like, subscribe to our channel, and if you need further information about IELTS and the IELTS test and how to answer the rest of the speaking questions in part 2 and part 3, check in the link below in the description. There you will have more information about it and our courses.